Don, the indictment says that you protected the address. You protected the element of surprise. You kissed the organizer on camera. Do you consider yourself a participant or a journalist? We on your side, participating by saying don't you got your black face.
Hey, yo, what's up, guys? So this is Eli Honig, a CNN legal expert, and he's on Stephen A. Smith's show. And listen to what he has to say about Don Lemon's arrest. Take a look.
And I think that's why Don's case is going to be different than the other protesters, because he's going to simply argue, I was covering this as a journalist. I mean, if you look at Don.
Is this guy serious? He thinks that Don was just reporting the news? Because I'm about to show you clips that say otherwise. Take a look at this clip here, because I'm going to pause the moments where, in this clip, Don Lemon crossed from neutral reporting to actually participating in the legal acts. Take a look.
They're getting the operation together. Again, this is an operation that is secret, that they invited folks out.
Okay, so by Don saying that this operation was secret strongly suggests that he had advanced knowledge of this illegal plan and treated as an insider rather than a journalist. Like, tell me this, do you actually think that Don Lemon just by chance stumbled upon this Minneapolis church, the very same church that these protesters were about to storm in? This was not by chance. This was obviously planned, coordinated well in advance.
Can't tell you what is going to happen, but you're going to watch it live unfold here on the Don Lemon Show. There are for this reason, it may look like MAGA coded, but there's a reason they have so many white people here. I'm just going to be honest. It's because of the operation that they're doing today. It's important to have allies, as they said, white allies here. So that is what I could say. I turned our camera off of them because they're giving some critical information here. But there we go. Everybody's ready to go.
Okay, so you guys heard that. Don said that he turned off his camera because they were giving out important strategy. Like, this is cited as another piece of evidence that Don was protecting this group's tactics. He was acting as an insider, not a journalist. And I don't know how much more proof I have to give because Don was not there in good faith. He was out there being complicit with these protesters who stormed a Minneapolis church in the middle of a sermon.
Let's go. Okay. Thank you guys for allowing me to be here. Thank you guys.
Okay.
How are you?
Good
to see you. We're on. We're not saying what it is, what's going on, but thank you. Tell us why you're doing this.
So
this is Nekima Levy Armstrong. She's on the show on Friday.
Levy Armstrong, civil rights attorney, longtime activist here in the community. And, we protest and do activism in all kinds of ways. This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there. And then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now.
Okay, so you guys just saw that. Don Lemon just kissed the organizer, one of the main protesters who initially got arrested immediately after the event. And he flew in specifically for this event. And this is what the DOJ argued that showed intent and coordination, not impartial coverage. Okay, so now listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say about this Don Lemon story because his take kind of shocked me. I've listened.
You're violating his First Amendment rights. First of all, there's the issue of freedom of speech. Secondly, there's his freedom as a journalist, freedom of the press.
Okay, so let me just clear this up for Stephen A. Smith. The First Amendment protects freedom of speech, freedom of the press, allowing journalists to cover protests, even disruptive ones, without fear of retaliation. However, these rights are not absolute. If a journalist crosses into participating in illegal acts, for example, trespassing, obstruction, or conspiracy, protection can be lost. Okay, so some of the clips I showed you earlier in this video, I think there is a very strong case that Don Lemon conspired with these protesters to storm this church in Minneapolis.
And it's coming from me, along with many, many others. I'm not one that thinks it was particularly wise for Don Lemon to go into that church.
You think?
I say a house of worship, don't go there. Don't go there. That would have been me. Get them when they're coming outside. Don't go into it. It's private property. Who knows what they can charge you with, particularly with this administration. I didn't think it was the wisest thing for him to do, to go into that church, knowing how knowledgeable he is, knowing how smart he is, knowing how accomplished he has been as a journalist. I just felt like, hey, you know what? That wasn't the wisest thing to do. But he knew what he was doing, and it was clearly a risk that he was willing to take. How Trump and them have reacted to it all is the pathetic part of it. And then when you see people like Pam Bondi saying the kind of stuff that she says, it doesn't make it any better. It makes it worse. Play that for me, please.
Make no mistake, under President Trump's leadership and this administration, you have the right to worship freely and safely. And if I haven't been clear already, if you violate that sacred right, we are coming after you.
I can't tell whether that's her or Christina. If you didn't show me the video, I wouldn't have known it was her. Don't they sound exactly the same? See, the commercial with
Okay, so if Stephen A. Smith actually took a look at the video evidence, I don't know how he can come to any other conclusion. Like, if you just took a look at the video evidence that I've provided here, you can't tell me that Don Lemon did not know what was going on. He was complicit. He met these protesters in the parking lot before they stormed in. He hugged the main protester, the main organizer. He kept saying the words like, we're doing journalism. We're going to go in. You cannot tell me that, like, all the evidence that I've provided, that Don Lemon did not know what was going to happen. Just, by chance stumbled upon this Minneapolis church that these protesters were going to storm.
MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true. So let me just make it clear, because this assistant attorney general, I don't know, what's her name? Something Hammett, Dillon or whatever. So I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests.
Yeah, he just so happened to be around that area where the protests were happening.
Once the protests started in the church, we did an act of journalism.
We did an act of journalism.
Which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. That's it. It's called journalism. First Amendment, all that stuff. For all of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutist.
Okay, so before we wrap it up, I want you to listen to Vinny on the PBD podcast and listen to what he had to say here.
The FACE Act covers crime to use force, threaten, or physically obstruct people in places of worship. Say what you want. They were getting in the way. All the affidavits were just coming out that these people, including him, they were all standing around bumping into people, were stopping kids from getting to their parents. That there was a daycare downstairs, and they were stopping children, yelling in their faces, saying, "Your father is a Nazi, and I hope he burns in hell." Okay, and say what you want. Don Lemon was outside with them beforehand. He acted like it was a surprise, and nobody knew. It's all BS, okay? And even if, let him make the money and do all this, Don Lemon has been begging for this type of thing, okay? Because since he left CNN, he's been dying to be in the limelight. Think about it, CNN. He was one of the main guys at CNN.
Okay, so Vinny's 100% correct here. Don Lemon is a zero today. He was once one of the faces of CNN, but now he's resorting to doing man-on-the-street type interviews. He's, basically just a provocateur. He's probably loving the limelight right now.